password managers are great. They serve a couple purposes. Obviously, the first one that comes to mind is they manage all your passwords. What's nice about using them as opposed to just using what's built into your browser is it's a little more secure, not really targeted as much. It's just nice to keep things separate. The other nice reason about password managers is it can work across platforms, so even across ecosystems. So I'm on a Mac right now, but my phone's an Android, and my password managers will automatically fill in passwords for apps, not just things within the browser. What else is cool about most of the password managers is if it can create passwords for you and store them, and it can make them very tough to guess. It can make them, just real creative. It can make passphrases. I'm going to show you one nice thing that Bitwarden does that I'm really appreciative, because my district has moved a lot of our accounts, our services to this verification. But there's a bunch out there. You've heard commercials probably for LastPass and 1Password and NordPass and things like that. But I'm going to show you one that I use. This one's called Bitwarden. I read about it on a lot of different websites. CNET said it was great. And I like it because it was offered a lot more than just passwords. And it was pretty cheap, right? So if we go to the pricing, you could see that for a personal plan, technically it's free. You don't have to pay for it. I actually do the premium, $10 a year, less than $1 a month. Because it gives a couple extra things. You could do a family plan that's $3 a month. But honestly, if it's just you and one other person, maybe two other people, I might just do premium accounts for each of you, because it's a little bit cheaper. But and what's really cool, you can see up here, there is a Bitwarden Google extension. So I'm going to show you that, but let me first show you what the actual app looks like. Here is Bitwarden. On your computer, if you have a fingerprint reader, you can set it up that way. If you want to use your computer's password, you can. If you want to use the password for your site or for the master, you will have to remember 1Password for Bitwarden. You can set that up. But yeah, here are all the accounts, and obviously with some of this stuff, as I'm showing passwords and things like that, I'm going to blur it out. But yeah, these are all your passwords in one spot. You could make different folders, different categories, which I've done. You can make secure notes. You can put credit card or payment information in there. It's really just got a little bit of everything. I don't use the actual site so much, or the actual program, I should say. I mostly use the app on my phone, or the Chrome extension. I'm not really in here too much. And once you get it set up, if you log into a site and it is not saved in Bitwarden, it will give you a pop-up that says, hey, do you want to add this? And then you can kind of get as specific as you want. Create favorites. Yeah, so let me show you how you would set up a password. So let's say I already know the site. Let's say I'm coming here. I'm going to say it's a login. So this is, we'll call this just the basic functionality of setting up a password. So let's say the name of this, let's say I'm going to do Yahoo. And let's say my username is an email address at, I think it was ymail.com, right? And now for the password, this is what's cool. If you know your password, that's great. You can set it up here. But let's say you are saying, you know what, all my passwords are the same. too easy to guess. Let's say this is the first time you're setting up this account. I could come in here, click this circle, and generate a password, right? So it made this password. It's got capital letters, lowercase letters, numbers. Pretty tough to guess, right? If I don't like this one, I can just kind of skip it. But now I have some different options. So let's say I want to make it a passphrase, right? So gradation, cesspool, twistable with dashes in the middle. Okay. Let's say I want to make it four words long. Let's say the separator, I'm a big fan of the @ sign, so I'm going to make the separator the @ sign. Let's say I want to do some capitalization, some not. Let's say I want to include some numbers for my password. Let's say I want it to only be 8. And again, do I want a mixture of capital and lowercase? Yep. Do I want numbers? Yes. Do I want some symbols in there? Yep. Minimum number of numbers. Let's say I want 3 numbers, and let's say I want 2 symbols. Right? So that creates a pretty crazy password, right? Pretty secure. I feel comfortable that no one would probably guess that. So if I hit check, it would save it as the password, and then so on. Put some notes, custom field if it's something that has like an extra, not just a password, something else you got to put in, things like that. Okay, so I'm gonna hit cancel. Now, how does this look on the Chrome extension, right? So to do an automatic login, let's say I want to go to, well, first off, let's say Bitwarden. I have a password saved here. It's going to tell me, hey guy, you have one password saved here. I'm going to click on that, and it's going to suggest, it's going to show me what the suggestion is. Hey, it's probably this account. It's going to have my credit cards, identities, things like that if I want to sign in. Now, what does it look like once you have everything set up? So if I go to the D2L at National Louis and I go to log in, watch here. Boom, boom, automatically fills it in. What's nice about that with the autofill in is that if you save your passwords in your browser, there are some websites that don't let you do that. There are some websites that will block you from that. Bitwarden is going to override all those, right? It's going to allow you to do whatever you want. Once you get in here, you could I'll go over the settings in a second, but you could set it up how you want it to look, right? So let's say I set it up, and now I'm going to go to settings. My autofill, how do I want it to autofill? Yeah, I want it to do it right when the page loads. So my default setting is autofill when the page loads or do not. Now here is where this default URI matching detection, this could be, National Louis has a couple different sites. So I want their base domain is nl.edu. So anytime it recognizes a National Louis website with a login and a password, it is going to pull this information. Now let's say I have different accounts for each of my National Louis websites or National Louis accounts. Let's say for this login, it's different than my Microsoft account for National Louis, which is different from my student portal and so on. So I might change this to exact. Hey, when I am only at this web page, this is where you're gonna fill it in. Okay, so that's pretty cool. When does it time out? Custom after 48 hours. This is gonna lock, and I'm gonna need to log in again. We got this generator. If I want to change some stuff, if I want a new password, a new username, I can set that up here. So pretty cool. That is one option I like about it, is that if you're at a site that doesn't necessarily allow this, it overwrites that. It's just really clean, right? It's really simple. It's nice because since you could set it up to automatically do that, and it can, on my phone, I've done it on iOS and I've done it on Android. Once you get a login, this little gray box pops up. You do have to click a couple accessibility stuff that walks you through that, but then you could have it automatically log you into apps as well. It's good for those apps that don't allow you to do, set up your face unlock with it or let you use your biometrics with your thumb. So now here's the other cool thing that I wanted to show you. So let's say we use Infinite Campus for our student management, right? And I'm going to log in. I believe I've already signed in, right? I could do now Bitwarden. What it's noticing is, hey, you got a couple logins that are tied to a Microsoft Online. You have your D214. You have when I was adjuncting at DePaul. We have my personal account, and we have my other account, right? So this one, it might be like, okay, you need to tell me which password I'm going for. So I'm not going to log in. But here's the really cool thing. You see these timers right here? If I click on that, that copies the two-step authenticator, the verification. For some of your logins, right, you might have seen that, every once in a while, you have to go to the Google Authenticator or the Microsoft Authenticator, get that 6-digit code and log in. This, once you set it up with a QR code, you set it up with, typing in a passcode they have, it is automatically going to have those for you. So if I ever go to log in and it's saying, hey, give me that authenticator code, I don't have to say, where's my phone? I don't have to pull up a separate app. I could just go here, click on this, it's going to copy it, and I could paste it in here. Really, really helps, right? It really helps. It speeds things up. Does it on the phone too. I'm going to put in a screenshot right here that shows you what that looks like on the mobile app. It's going to, you could click on, verifiers, and it'll put all of the apps that use a 6-digit code in one. So if you didn't want to do it from here, you could have it on your phone, but you don't have to, go through a bunch of steps. If you're on the website, like if I'm looking at Infinite Campus on my phone, need the 6-digit, I could find it there. So, Bitwarden, it's been nice, right? It's definitely, if it's not the password manager you're going to use, definitely I would say consider one. I like it, number one, because it's free, but number two, even with it being paid, this pricing isn't like promo pricing, right? This is it. This is what it's at. This is how much it costs. Some of the bigger names like 1Password and LastPass and Keeper, I've seen signs for Keepers on highways. Like they offer promos like, hey, $1.99 a month, and that jacks up. But even that $1.99 a month, it's eventually going to cost more than this. If you want to, if you're not sure about a password manager, you want to try it for free, you can check out Bitwarden because it's got, all the basic functionalities. If you're just like, hey, I like that idea of storing my passwords all in one spot, as opposed to if you're someone that, I'm thinking of my wife, she has a notes app on her phone, she stores everything in. I'm thinking of my mom, she writes everything in a notebook. If you don't have access to those, what are you going to do? This Bitwarden, you set up an account, it's free, you test it out. If you want to pay, you pay. And also if you pay for it and don't like it, you're out $10 for it, and it gives you access to a whole year. So again, strongly consider it. Protect your accounts, protect your information, and don't stress about remembering passwords. Hopefully this helps.